up bullet journaling in 2021 after COVID when I realized that I did not have any hobbies outside of work. Yikes. And now I have been consistently bullet journaling for the past 4 years, and it has turned into one of my favorite daily activities, well, daily and weekly activities, and just activities in general. Let's just say bullet journaling has become one of my favorite activities in general. If you're new here, my name is Cassandra and I create videos on productivity, self-love, and the occasional travel and living abroad vlog. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 6 lessons I have learned over the past 4 years of bullet journaling. Also, if you are interested in seeing how I set up my bullet journal, I will link that video up here somewhere. It's taken me a lot of trial and error to see what I like and what works best for me, which actually takes us into the first lesson.
You learn by trial and error.
Before starting my first bullet journal, I watched so many how-to videos on YouTube to learn about what pages I needed, what types of supplies, how to set up trackers, how to set up weekly spreads, monthly spreads. Do I need like all of the fancy stickers, pens, washi tape, markers, and all of that stuff? And from all of that, like watching how-tos and just trying to like think about what works or what would work best for me, my bullet journal has actually taught me that the only way to really know is to try and then see if I like it. And the best thing about bullet journaling is that I can try, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do it again. And if I do like it, then I can continue with creating that spread or that page or whatever else. And honestly, this lesson that I learned from my bullet journal, like, you will not know what you like or don't like until you try, has shown up in so many different areas of my life, whether that's through running, fit boxing, trying new hobbies, trying different restaurants, or even going to the same restaurant and trying a different menu on the item. Like, I don't know about you all, but I like to call myself a comfort risk taker, as in I like taking risks within the confines of what I am comfortable with. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it does get me into like, you know, the same thing all the time. I end up kind of, you know, having my go-tos or like a specific way I do things. And really this first lesson from my bullet journal has helped me to kind of push myself even further outside of my comfort zone and to try new things. Learning by trial and error in my bullet journal with testing out different stickers, markers, spreads, trackers, different types of, I don't know, cover pages has helped me to just be more adventurous. And also it has pushed me creatively, whether that's through drawing, doodling, or just testing out like different mediums in my bullet journal, which actually leads me to lesson number 2.
If you don't like something, you have the power to change it.
After lots of trial and error and seeing that I could like something or I don't like something, I actually have the power and the choice to change it if I do not like it. For example, some weeks I want to switch it up with how I set up my weekly spreads, so I will try it for a week, and then if I realize that I did not like how that spread looked, I didn't like how it like helped me organize, then I will completely change it and not continue with it for the next week. The same goes for my monthly spreads as well. So if I am testing out a new monthly spread or trying something new in my bullet journal and I realize that I don't like it, I actually have the power and the choice to change it, and most often I will, because I don't want to keep doing it because I just don't like it. I think the greatest thing about your bullet journal is that you are creating it while you are using it. So while you are testing and drawing out different things week by week, you can actually decide if you like something or if you don't and continue with it or completely stop it. I think that's pretty powerful, and not trying to make this cliche and about life and stuff, but honestly also about life, because bullet journaling and just realizing that I have the power and the choice to make changes has really, like, just that little small thing about like weekly spreads or monthly spreads has carried into my life. It does take a little bit longer when it comes to like larger decisions than a weekly spread and a monthly spread, but honestly, y'all, like understanding that and realizing it, I'm like, oh yeah, if I don't like something in my life, I have the power and the choice to actually take action to change it. That's pretty awesome. Little extra note here. So something that I used to do when I was a lot younger, maybe also in like my 20s, was that I thought that if I didn't like something, I kind of had to like suck it up because that's just what you have to do. Like, suck it up. You can't get everything that you want. Even if you don't like it, you kind of just have to suck it up and do it. And I honestly feel like with my bullet journal, and because I'm getting older and just realizing that you can create whatever you want to create and you can kind of like chart your own path, you have the power and the choice to change that. Like, you have the power and the choice to change your circumstances. And that is just a nice reminder for me, because sometimes I will get in my head and, you know, feel woe is me and sulk about things, and then I realize, oh, actually I have the power to change my circumstances. Okay, I didn't expect this video to turn into like a semi-motivational, inspirational little pep talk, but I wanted to add that in there because I feel like it's super important, because it has shown up in my life multiple times.
You can learn so much about yourself when you pay attention.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned from bullet journaling is self-awareness based on the things that I want to track, and honestly, the spreads that I have created for myself. I believe that when you set aside time to reflect and review, you can honestly learn so much about yourself. For example, I have learned things about myself that I didn't even realize. Things like what I don't like, how I like to organize like certain pieces of information, how I best work, how I don't like to work, what are like systems or routines that support me. All of those things are things I have learned thanks to tracking it in my bullet journal. Actually, one of the things that I've learned thanks to like tracking and testing out different spreads in my bullet journal is that I don't work that well with to-do lists. Surprising, because I used to make to-do lists all the time in my life, from when I was a kid to like basically keep track of my homework to maybe up until like maybe just a few years ago. I actually realized that to-do lists make me feel overwhelmed, and then seeing such like a long list on a piece of paper again makes me feel overwhelmed, and then it makes my brain feel like, oh my gosh, I have so many competing priorities. I don't know how to like manage my time well or prioritize my tasks. So a spread that I have been creating in my bullet journal is a top 3 spread. So every day I just like color in 3 little circles that I number 1, 2, 3, and they are my top 3 priorities that I need to get done that day. And that has helped me so much because it like prioritizes the things that I definitely need to get done, like the really important stuff, and then I still make like a small to-do list on the side of that, and that is just nice to have things to get done. If they get done that day, amazing. If they do not, then they just kind of get moved to the next day. But that is definitely one thing that I learned about myself and how I best work, which is to-do lists. Not for me. I'm more of a top 3 human.
There are a million and more ways to do something.
Like I said in the beginning of this video, when I first started bullet journaling, I watched so many videos on how to bullet journal. From how to set up your bullet journal, how to set up your weekly spreads, how to, I don't know, organize yourself, how to prep things, how to plan your bullet journal, so many things. And I saw so many different journals out there from lots of different creators, lots of different journalers, and even like talking to a few of my friends, I saw how they set up their bullet journals. From some of my friends are like super minimalist and their bullet journals are extremely minimalist. Some friends are extremely artsy, so their bullet journals are like literal works of art. And I found myself kind of in the middle of being minimalist and creative at the same time. So the biggest lesson that I've learned is that really, there are so many ways to do something. There are so many ways to show up. There are so many ways to get something done. There's not just one right way. I feel like oftentimes, especially with bullet journaling, but maybe in life, so is this like a inspirational life chat video disguised as a 6 lessons bullet journaling video? I don't know, y'all, but after seeing so many people's like bullet journals and how they set things up, it just taught me that there are so many ways to do something. Like there's not just one way to do something, there can be a million and more ways to do something. And I feel like that is also applicable to life because, you know, we want to follow like this specific path or see that somebody did it this way, so we try to do it this way, and really, you can do anything however way you want to. I feel like that's like the beauty of it, especially with bullet journaling. You can really do whatever you want. You can set it up however you want. There are a million and more ways to do things, bullet journaling specifically, but maybe also in life and how you just live life, which takes me to lesson number 5.
You don't need to do it like everyone else. You can create your own way.
Since there are a million and more ways to do something, I learned that you don't have to follow how somebody does something. You can really create your own way to bullet journal. You can create your own way to, I don't know, start a YouTube channel. You can create your own career path. I don't know, y'all. There are a lot of ways to do things and you don't have to follow one specific way of doing it. Really, the best way to do something is the way that works best for you and the way that supports you, where you feel nourished and supported and feel good about how you're showing up. Yeah, sorry y'all that this is getting into like life advice. I did not expect this video to be that way. I'm still talking about bullet journaling lessons, I promise. I could have followed how other people set up their bullet journal and how other people make their bullet journal. And I did in the beginning because I just didn't really know what to do. And after a lot of trial and error actually, which is lesson 1 that we talked about, I actually figured out what works best for me and how I work best with like organizing and planning and how I really want to use my bullet journal. The beauty about bullet journaling is honestly you get to create what works best for you and what you want. So for example, if I want to track how many hours I sleep because that is something that is really important to me, then I can create a spread and track that. If I don't really care about tracking my hours of sleep, then I can create a spread for something totally different. I think the best part about having a bullet journal is that you're really working with a blank slate. Like it's a blank notebook, y'all. So you can create as you go and test and tweak and just create what works best for you instead of trying to fit your life and what you want into an already pre-made journal or a pre-made planner, you know?
Dedicated self-check-in and reset time for myself is so important.
Since I have to create my weekly spreads every week, this has turned into some sort of like ritual for myself called my Sacred Sunday routine or Sacred Sunday ritual, where I set aside about 30 minutes to almost an hour to work on my bullet journal and just review and reset for the following week. During this ritual, I will create my weekly spread, note any important events happening, for example, meetings, a ceramics class, etc. I'll also plan out my strength training workouts, and then I check in with my partner to see if there's anything we can do to support each other. For example, schedule shifts, extra support, etc. And then if I have more time, then I will spend it journaling. I feel like that list sounds like a lot, but it honestly just takes like a few moments. I feel like having this dedicated time for me, my Sacred Sunday ritual, has really helped me to kind of like disconnect and then review and reset for the week ahead so that I am entering it with lots of intentionality and not like scrambling and running around trying to like play catch up, which is like the absolute worst feeling for somebody who has anxiety. Those are my 6 lessons after 4 years of bullet journaling. If you are also a bullet journaler, let me know in the comments if any of those lessons resonated with you, did any of them surprise you, or if you have had lessons of your own from bullet journaling. I would love to know because I'm always curious to know how bullet journaling has really supported other people. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more productivity, self-love, and the occasional travel and living abroad vlog. If you enjoyed this video, then you might also like this one on my mid-year bullet journal setup. All right, y'all, I will see you in the next video, and stay fierce, fam. Ciao.